Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to episode 5 of Here's the Thing. So, recently I've just been super overwhelmed and a little bit in mental chaos. As I mentioned in the last episode, you guys found out that I do powerlift, and my coach and I had mentioned that I am about 3 weeks out from my comp, so everything has been super overwhelming and stressful, but as always, reading a good growth mindset and personal development book never hurt. So, a few months ago, I found myself in a situation with a person that was very important in my life and has been important to the person that I have become today. And out of respect for this person, I won't say their name or give too many details on them, but when you're put into intense and overwhelming situations with someone that you care very deeply about and have a lot of emotions towards, we tend to act out, and we act out of anger or whatever heightened emotion we're feeling at the moment. And that's exactly what I did. In that moment, I reacted out of anger and couldn't quite see where the other person was coming from and their side of the situation, which I think caused me to say things and do things that obviously came off in the wrong way and was interpreted very poorly. But I think that when situations like this happen, you can't necessarily predict how you're going to react, but it's definitely something that we should all be working on. We should all be working on how to properly handle our reactions to very emotionally intense situations. And this week, we're actually going to revisit a book that I talked about, I think, in episode 3. And that was the book Pivot Year by Brianna Wiest. And the quote from today is actually day 4 on the year-long journey of becoming the person you've always dreamed. And so the quote says, self-protection is learning how to take a pause between what you feel and how you react. When there is no awareness between what you perceive and the way that you respond, anything can control you. Practice the pause. Widen the space between what you sense and what you do about it. Decide what's worth your energy, because what you engage with is what you empower. So the quote says, practice the pause. And to me, the pause is taking a minute to step back and really assess the situation as a whole and not through whatever lens that your emotions are coming from. And I found some other research on taking that pause, and it says creating tolerance for mistakes makes room for learning from them. Acknowledging and apologizing honestly for mistakes makes it easier to respond to them effectively. And I think this is something that is really hard to do at first, because we don't want to accept that we're wrong, which is a normal human reaction. We all have issues at accepting that we're wrong and where we've made mistakes. But I think when a situation weighs on you so heavy, you have no choice but to reflect. I feel like you do a lot of reflection, and that situation constantly replays in your head. I know that's what I did. The situation replayed in my head over and over for weeks until I finally broke some ground on where everything came from. And after I reflected for many, many days on this situation, it finally made me recognize the parts of the situation where I was dismissive towards their feelings, which I know we all have done at one point or another. So don't feel bad about it, but learn from it. Because if you make yourself feel bad about it, you're not going to want to do better. Recognize where you went wrong, own up to it, and actively take the steps towards making sure something like this doesn't happen again, or at least if you find yourself in a similar situation again, you have a way better reaction towards the situation. And it's always good to remember that these kinds of situations, not one person is always to blame. You can't always just put the blame on yourself, which goes hand in hand with not making yourself feel bad about the situation. Because I know a lot of us have heard the saying, it takes two to tango. So being able to just take that step back and realize your wrongs in the situation will push you to become a better person and push you to become more self-aware. And for me, a couple months after the situation occurred, I see it in a whole new light now. And honestly, now I can see how even their actions from months prior to the situation occurring all contributed to the way they reacted on that day. And I do acknowledge that I was more in the wrong than the other party. Now, whether it's too late or the perfect time for you to own up to the situation and hold yourself accountable to this person, I think it's something we should all practice. And as humans, of course, it's hard for us to accept that we've been wrong. And we always try to put the blame on other people because it's easier to blame other people than it is to blame ourselves. And even if you can't always patch up whatever cuts and bruises you caused, I think you owe it to yourself to learn from these situations and these moments and prevent it from happening again, whether with other people or the same person. If you have the opportunity to fix whatever happened from your mistakes and your wrongdoings with whoever, whatever, take that second chance to repair the damage that you caused. This is your daily reminder to be kind to yourself when you've messed up, but to also actively work to become a better person and avoid future mistakes. Alright, so as always, it's been real fun, and I will chat with you guys next week. I'm so excited.